Persona is known for having two villains. The one that's usually a person who goes against the main group. This would be your Kusuke/Strega and Shido/Maruki. Then you have the god that the group would fight. That would be your Nyx, Izanami, and Yaldabaoth. Notice someone I didn't mention? That's right, the most spoiled villain in a Persona game, Adachi Tohru. Going into Persona 4 Golden, I already knew Adachi was the killer. It's pretty obvious and the Persona fans like spoiling their own games. How villains work in most media is pretty simple. The villain has some tragic backstory that makes them feel that way, and they take their feelings out by being the villain. Most of the time, it pulls the he was never a bad guy in the first place after all kind of thing, which is meh. Junpei says it best in Persona 3 Portable. It isn't cool when you have to beat somebody who doesn't want to be the bad guy. Bad guys should be evil all the way to the core. It's just more satisfying. Now, under certain circumstances, if it's done right, like Maruki in Persona 5 Royale, it's pretty cool. Or Strega, who was forced to be awakened with unstable personas, and their only freedom being seen as the fall. Akutsuki is a bit of a mixed take. He wants to become the god of the new world or some shit. So I guess he's kind of like Adachi, but I didn't really like his plot twist anyway. Now, if we look at Adachi, he doesn't really have some tragic backstory. The worst thing that's happened to him was that he was reassigned to Inaba and losing out on his chance being a detective in the big city. With Maruki, he lost somebody he loved trying to make the world a better place. He sacrificed his career just to get there. Maruki isn't a villain. He's just someone who didn't want people to go through what he had to go through. But with Adachi, he just got assigned somewhere he didn't want to go. I'm just gonna throw this out there. Adachi is the villain because he chooses to be. His reasoning behind it is, I have this cool power, I might as well use it. Yes, there was some underlying stuff, but his main reason is that he can kill because he can. One line I think really proves this point is him explaining why he decided to join the police force in the first place.
Don't make me laugh. Just because someone joins the police doesn't make them some kind of agent of justice. You know why I applied? So I could legally carry a gun. That's all. You'd be surprised how many are like that. I thought it would be fun too, but to tell the truth, that was a wash. Everyone around me was such an idiot.
Adachi is a very confusing yet easy to understand character. You're basically told his motives and he basically admits to you everything that he's done. Hell, the main reasons why he killed Saki and Mayumi was because they didn't want to sleep with him. He also manipulated Namatame into throwing people into the TV because he liked seeing where it was going. And the same can be said when Yu and his friends got involved. He just saw it as a game. Another thing about Adachi is that he's just so self-centered. He deserves a better life. He doesn't put the work into it, though he does know how to work it if you know what I mean. Almost every day you can go to Junes and just see him slacking off, never putting in any real effort. He wants everything to be delivered to him on a silver platter. His ego is massive. When talking to him before the boss fight, he claims that it's much better to believe what you don't want to believe in. If you believe the world is shit and everyone should go to hell, go off. Do you believe that the world has a chance to be good? No. Shut up, that's not what I think. Even Adachi's dungeon is above Inaba. Again, he sees himself as the better human being than everyone else in that stupid town. Even after defeating Adachi, his opinions don't change. He's still the same spiteful person that he was before. But this time, he's even more spiteful because he just lost. Even when Yu calls him his friend and still saves him from the Shadow World, he still comments on how Yu basically got it better and how much easier his life would have been if he would have just been like Yu. Also, let's not forget what Adachi cooked in his final letter to the investigation squad.
But let me just say this. You're a dumbass.
Some 5-star gourmet meal stuff right there. Also, speaking of cooking, he does cook up something good for you during his fight with Izanami.
Man, you're so cruel. You make me take responsibility for my sins, but you're gonna let this bitch take you down like this? That's hilarious. Get up. You're not like me, right?
Even though he hates you with all of his soul, he still commends you for what he's doing, and basically telling him in a very passive-aggressive way that he will finish this because after all, you're not like him. In the simplest way possible, Adachi started killing mainly because that was one of the first times in his life that he's had power over something, and also because he hates beaches and shores. I'm sorry.
Bitches and whores, I say. Bitches and whores!
In the accomplished ending, you can tell the exact moment where Adachi gets control of the situation, and how he immediately starts abusing it. With one of the main people who went against him on his side, he wasn't going to let that chance slip away. He was going to abuse it to the very end. Even when Yu leaves for the city again, Adachi always reminds him that no matter how far he goes, he will always be there with him. Basically being a big screw you to the people who did Adachi's ending. The reason why he's my favorite villain of the modern Persona series is because he's just that. He's a villain. With Maruki, it made me wonder if I was doing the right thing in the end, made me think about his reality and compared my option. But for Adachi, he's just a little silly sometimes. He may have good traits, sure, and his kind of sad backstory, but he's just some guy with a head too big to even fit on his shoulders. Somebody who thinks he's just better than everyone else, and someone who's basically just a psychopath.
You destroyed evidence. That's a crime, you know?
But yeah, that's it. Beaches and shores and bitches,
Bitches
and
and
whores.
whores, I say. Bitches and whores!
Thanks for watching.
What's the